Hello everyone. Sorry I'm a little bit late tonight. I had a bunch of running around to do and I didn't keep track of the time, and then when I got home I was like, oh, I need to make some dinner and I need to have something to eat before I go live. I was feeling kind of hangry, so I wanted to just get a little something in my stomach. So tonight I didn't have anything prepared or pre-cut. So I know the projects that we're doing. These are the ones that are going to be in the tutorial. And sorry, I'm just getting some things picked up on my desk while we're getting ready here. We're going to be making some treat bags today. Well, not treat bags. We're going to be making some treats. So I have a little Debbie's snack cake. So we're making a little box to hold that. And then we're going to make a little candy treat. So I'm going to show you step by step on how I start making a box. So this was, sorry, sorry, a little heartburn there. Yeah. So, I'll show you, step by step on actually how I go about doing this when I don't have something pre-planned. By that, I mean, I don't have a tutorial right in front of me to show me, oh, here's the layout you need. I'm going to show you how I measure and how I actually make the box. That way you can see it kind of from scratch. So you can do any size box that you need. I'll show you how to do that. And then the tutorial, though, will show you the exact measurements for the little Debbie snack cake. Okay. And sorry, I'm half distracted. I'm going to apologize. My dog is actually very sick. He's got a cold. My dog has never had a cold before. So he's snorting and he's wheezing, and just a few minutes ago, he was laying on the ground next to me. You know, his little head was like half up in the air. He can't even hardly hold his head up. He sneezed so hard, he smacked his jaw and his head on the floor. I thought something like major fell somewhere because it was so loud. The poor guy like kind of knocked himself senseless. So he's just kind of, oh, hold on. He's just hanging around me because he's like, Mom, I'm really sick. Help me. Poor thing. I can't do anything for him. He's like having a little kid that's sick because he just wants all of my attention, and he's not digging the fact that I am here with all of you tonight. All right. He'll have to get over it. Okay. All right. So I got my desktop cleaned off. I'm going to flip it down and we're going to get started. I do want to just go right over here to my Facebook page, and there I see that I'm live. Let me get to my video. So say hi. Let me know that you're here. Half up in the air. You can. Oh my gosh, that's way far behind. But okay, I'm gonna put my camera down. Close your eyes if you get dizzy. I'll let you know when to open them. Oh well, I want to switch. Oh please, it's not allowing me to switch. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. So let's start with my designer series paper that I'm going to use. Let's see. I'm going to use oh, here it is. I am using, sorry, I forgot the name of it. Well, that's not the name of it. Jeez. Jeez Louise, Beth, come on, get your stuff going here. It is called the Christmas Tags and More. So you've got a whole bunch of stuff in here. I've got all my stuff right here. And I'll be using some of this. And then I'll be using some of my cardstock here. Let's just get a couple pieces out. I'm almost debating on using something else, but we'll see. Okay, so it comes with these fun stickers. Now you can tell I've been using this quite a bit. My stickers have kind of fallen apart here. I've got my piece of ribbon. Oh my goodness. This is just all over the place. All right. Put that right over there for right now. Let's get a couple pieces of... That's not what I want. Let's see. Well, that might be fun to use. I think I'm actually going to, for the box, let's see. I want to use a piece of, well, I didn't want to use, my original plan. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. The designer series paper I was going to use was out of stock, and I didn't want to use something you can't order. But we have to because that's what I had planned here. All right. We're going to use this. So let me just quick check and see if the Modern Christmas designer series paper is in stock here. Let's see. 165,990. And my lighting is just, I gotta redo my lighting in here. It's just not been good. Let's see if I can make that a little brighter. I've got a terrible, terrible shadow here. Let's see, up. That's a little better. Whew, that's really bright on my eyeballs. Okay. It is still available. Woohoo! Okay, good. So we're going to be using this one. And I'm going to pull this piece out. Well, we can decide which one we want to use here. Where's my cake? I think we're going to use our little tree side here. Let me just make sure I have a full piece of that. There it is. We still will use the other Traditions of Christmas for our other project. Put that back. Okay, we'll put this over on this side right now. Okay, so I am going to, I have to write down my measurements as I go because I will forget. So have this off to the side. We're going to be using our pine tree trimmings. And, well, of course, I got a Little Debbie's cake to go with my pine tree trimmings because we're going to be using our die here. Pull this out. Our little die here to cut out an opening in our box. All right. So I have my Little Debbie's cake here. And I'm going to go ahead and take my little ruler. And I'm going to measure my little package here. So I'm going to go, because I'll squish it down just a little bit, but I don't want to pop the packaging. So let's just measure the whole packaging. So I'm going to take whatever treat I have, and this happens to be 5.5. So I write down my measurement. So it's 5.5 long, and it's about 3 inches. We'll do 3 inches wide. Okay, so that is just this dimension. Now, it is, how thick is my cake? My cake is, we're going to go with 1.5. All right, so when I'm doing this, let's go ahead and grab out, we're going to grab out Poppy Parade because that kind of matches that. And let me grab my Poppy Parade here. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Poppy Parade, where are you? Oh, I didn't pick up my mess from the other night. So bear with me because I've got to get everything picked up. I don't know why I didn't pick it up. I just didn't. All right. So as we design this, go this way with it. Okay. So what I need to do is, I know that I'm going to have, we'll start with this way. My inside my box has to be 5.5 by 3, right? So I need to add 1 inch to both sides to cover for the depth of my little treat here. So if I go 5.5 plus 1.5, sorry, I had something in my eye, will be 7 inches. Right, so 1.5, 5.5, right? Now I need more. That'll be 8 inches. Right? I can't add. So 1.5 plus 1.5, so it's 8.5 inches. Okay, so 8.5 inches, that's perfect. Now I also have to do it for this side. So I also need to have my top, right? So the sides I just did right now are just going to be my 3 sides. Now I need my top. So this will be 1.5 plus 3. So I've got 4.5. and then plus another 1.5. So that will be 6 inches. So I need my paper to be 8.5 by 6 inches. Shoot. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. Oh, I don't know why I turned my trimmer. Duh. All right. Let me get back to my feed here. Where am I? Oh, I just lost my Facebook page. Where did it go? Hang on. I need to catch back up with myself here. All right. There it is. No, that's 2 days. Oh, please. I'm getting back. I'm all discombobulated. It is day 3 of our 5 days of gift giving. And all right. Chocolate Christmas tree cakes and Menards. You know what? I do have the Little Debbie's chocolate. I did try them both. Okay. I'm gonna go back to my box here before I forget what I'm doing. Okay, so along this side, I need to measure at 1.5. So I'm gonna score at 1.5 here. Make sure I'm using my scoring blade. So 1.5, and then I would add 4.5 inches. So that puts me at 6. Is that right? 1.5 plus 4 will be 5.5 plus another half is 6. Okay, 6 inches. How did I not cut this correctly? Oh, that's because I did the other side. Oh, that's okay, because I still needed 1.5 over here. Is it the right way? Let me just look here what I'm doing. Yeah, that'll be right. That's right. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I was thinking. Actually, I'm not going to be able to do this at 1.5. I forgot that I'm going to need a little bit of a lip. So I actually need a piece that is 9 inches. All right, let's try this over again. My original box I made was something else, so let's try this again. I forgot to add my 1/2 inch for my little tab. So this will have to be 9 by 6. I think that will work. Let me just do this really quick. Let me measure on this side. So if I'm doing a 1/2 inch here, and I do a 1/2 inch on this side. Okay, move it over here. I just want to I make sure I have the measurements. Sorry. And that was supposed to be 1.5. Oh well, see, I completely have them off. All right, well, it'll take a moment because I completely goofed. I was just making the bottom of the box. I forgot to account for the top. So, oopsie. All right, we're going to start from scratch. So I said I want a 1.5 inch side plus, that was 5.5 inches plus 1.5 plus 5.5. This is where I messed up. So I'm going to have to make my sides a little smaller. Let's see if I can maybe get away with 1 inch without squishing my tree too much here. Can I get away with 1 inch? No, it's got to be at least 1.25 inches. All right, let's just see if that will do. Okay. And I might be able to get away with 5.5. I might be able to get away with 5.25 here too. All right, let's just see if that will work. I should have really written my measurements out earlier, hey? Okay, so this is 6 1/2. Okay, so that makes a 12-inch. Okay, we are going to have 2 pieces. I was hoping I can get away with just 1 piece. I could if I was using a 12 by 12 piece of paper, but since I'm not, we're going to just go ahead with our bottom. So our bottom will have to be, okay, our bottom's going to be slightly smaller. So this, I just need to do my measurements here. 6, 7, so it's 14. 6, 7 and a half, 8 and a half. So we've got our 8 and a half. And then this way will be our 3 by 3, 6. Okay. All right. I think we actually got it here. Okay. And I need just 1 1/2 at this end. It'll make it easier to do my die cutting anyways. So we'll make a box top and bottom. All right. So I think actually this might even be, oh yeah, that'll fit just fine. Okay. All right. So my bottom was 8 1/2 by 6, 8 1/2 by 6. And then I scored at a 1/2 inch around all 4 sides. All right. So that's all that was. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to make our box. And I'm going to go ahead and, so we'll do, this is actually going to be our top. I'm just going to cut my little squares here. And just making a little slit here. I may have to redo this video too. Oh, okay. So we're going to end up just putting these in. Now, one of the things that you can do is you can actually take your little corners here and this piece is just in my way. Just make a little wedge here to make those fit better, or you can leave them straight. If you cut straight, you shouldn't have a problem. Right? What the key here is that the top here, you want even with the top there. So even if you do put your little wedges in there, like I didn't cut very straight, so I am going to have to put a little wedge in there. I didn't cut straight along my score line. So when I put this together, to make sure my box is going to sit right, I want my edges to be even up here. All right, so we'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and use my tear and tape again. You can use liquid glue, but we'll just use tear and tape. And I'm just going to put it across here. Now, since this is my box top, I'm not going to actually assemble it yet because I need to cut out my tree for the top. So I'm going to put this one aside, but I am going to grab my second piece here, and this is going to measure, again, I'm going to cut it at 6 by 8 1/2, but I'm going to take off just a little schnibble, just a tad, like maybe a 1/16 of an inch, if that. All right, I just want a little bit of a strip off each end. Well, each side, I should say. All right. That way, this bottom of the box will fit inside the top of the box. And again, I'm going to just score this at 1 1/2. Just like we did the top on all 4 sides. And this one I'll put together right away. All right, so again, take your snips here. My lighting is so bad because I usually have another light on my desk, and I took it downstairs last week. Oh, I forgot to do this side. To do my live that had gotten interrupted. So it's just a phone call I had to make and talk to someone, and it was nothing serious. I mean, it was an issue at the time, but it was just talking to someone. So there we go. It wasn't like a emergency where I had to go run and do somewhere, be at the hospital or anything. All right, so we've got those 4, just like so. Hopefully I cut those straighter than the other one, and I can fold it in. So we'll get our corners. Tomorrow night, we're going to be doing some actual, like, gifts. Things that you can use as a gift. All right, let's get those peeled up. Oh, I've got that corner. Again, you do want to use adhesive that is really sticky. Okay, so Seal Plus, tear and tape, liquid glue. If you're using liquid glue, I would advise having mini dimensionals. All right, I didn't score on that. Okay, so now I'm just going to fold this in. Again, I'm going to match the corner and the top, and I did not cut straight. So in the case that you find out that you didn't cut straight, you can actually just trim those down after you get it adhered. So, like so. Again, I'm just making sure my corners are met. Okay, so that's my bottom of my box. Okay, now for the top of the box, we need to do our die cutting. So now I need to figure out where my die went. I had it over here. Where'd it go? I think I picked it up with everything else. I picked up all the paper and stuff. I think I picked it up. Bear with me while I find my die. Oh, there it is. Found it! Under my ruler. All right. These are my scraps. Okay, this is my box top. So right on here, I'm going to be right in the middle. I'm going to be putting my little cake. It's going to show up there. So let's grab our cut and emboss machine. Now, if you wanted, take your piece of tape. It was 1.5 inches. So what I'm doing here, I'll do it from the side, is I'm taking looking where I want my tree. And I'm just going to put my tape right there. And this piece will just fit in your die cut machine. Almost like I planned it that way. Yeah, I actually had to stop at 2 stores tonight to get the little Dubbies. I was like, okay, I should have gotten them on Saturday when I was out and about, and I didn't. And then today I was like, oh, I can't find them anywhere. Where did they go? All right. I also want to take a piece of my paper here. And on this paper, I can use my other partial piece here. This area right here is going to measure, where's my ruler? Oh, here it is. So this area here measures 5.5. This should be 5.5 by 3, 5.5 by 3. So on this piece of paper, I want this to be cut at just a hair smaller. So I'm going to cut this at 4 7/8 by 2 and 7/8. So, oh, that's 5.5. So I gotta go 5.5. I'm gonna go 1/8 down. So I lied to you. And then I'm gonna go 3, and I'm gonna go 1/8 down. All right. So I've got this piece here. Now, I want my tree to still be showing through that because this is going to adhere right to the front like this, right? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to adhere it down, and then I'll show you how I'm going to cut that out. So let's go ahead. I'm going to use my Seal Plus here. I'm going to actually do it all around here. I want to get around my tree is what I really want to do. There we go. And I got a little too far over. Oh well. I'm going to take our top and just put that right in there, less so. All right, I'm going to flip it over, and I am going to just slide my die cut right into that opening because it will catch. So the edges of your die right here that do the cutting, it will line up. Just like that. All right. So we'll put that through our die cut machine. I could have adhered that to this and done both pieces. If you're using 2 pieces of cardstock, you know, it's kind of depending on your machine. But you could use designer series paper and cardstock at the same time to go through. I tend not to do 2 pieces of cardstock unless it's white. So any die that you have, let's say you don't have a tree, go ahead and use a circle. It'll work just fine. All right, so there we go. We've got that opening just like we need. We can go ahead and finish our box. All right, and we're going to decorate up our box a little bit. Put a tag on there. We could even use the other side of the tree as our tag for our box, but it's black, so it really is not going to show up so much. So I'm just going to make a tag from one of my other tag sets here. And I hopefully left it out on my tabletop. All right, let's go ahead and fold these all in. Again, we just want to make sure that we're getting our sides and our top even, because you need that to form that angle, that straight edge angle there. Okay, so here we go. Put a little cake in there. Now, if we didn't want it to slide around, one of the fun things you could do is you could have some shredded paper in there, or you could throw some tissue in there. I don't have my tissue up here, so anyway, so now you can see your little cake in there. Even if it slides, it'll still be in a good spot. All right, and you don't even need to have a window sheet. This is the other thing. If you had something that was loose, say you have these kind of candies and you're throwing them in a box, what you want to do is have a window sheet that will cover that area. Right? So you just grab a piece of 4 or what was it? What did I cut it at? 5 3/8 by 2 7/8, and put that size window sheet. And I got a little bit of extra adhesive here. You usually can take an eraser. I don't have my adhesive remover out handy. It's in my drawer. All right, just ignore that. And then put that in the inside. Just adhere it with your tear and tape. And that way it would prevent anything from falling out of this little hole. But our little Debbie is wrapped up, so I'm not going to worry about it. All right, so there's our little cake. Let's go ahead and grab our traditional labels. There's a tag I want to use. Where did it go? Did I put it away? I think I may have put it away. Hold on. Oh, no, I don't think I did. I think it's right here. There it is. I did not. It was hiding in the little box, the bag I made yesterday. All right, and I'm going to show you the bags from the projects from day 1 and 2. So here we go. So I do have a bunch of little labels cut out. Here's all the different labels. I think it'd be really fun to have this one. I don't know why, but this one seems to be like my most favorite. So I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to actually pull in our 3 banner punch, because I'm going to use that one as well. So let me grab this die, and I need a piece of basic white. Grab a piece from my stash here. There we go. I may need 2 pieces. All right. So we're going to die cut that. And then I'm going to die cut this right here. So I'm going to stamp "Oh Christmas Tree" on here. Let's pull this up. And you could use whatever color. So if you want to use green, you can use green. If you want to use, you know, Poppy Parade, I'm going to use Poppy Parade just because that is kind of the color we're using for everything here. So let's grab Poppy Parade. And I'm hoping that will fit on here. If not, well, I'll show you how to extend your label punch. I don't think there's anything small enough. Let's just see. Oh, it didn't quite work. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut a 1/2-inch strip. All right. We're going to stamp this right away so I can see how far over to go. And then I am just going to insert it through. Well, it's going to be the wrong way. I need to go in from this side, if I can get it in there. Okay. So I'm just sliding that top part up so it doesn't cut, but it will cut over here. All right, then I just want to make it straight. All right, and then on this side, I'll do it again. So we'll slide this through, pull it up, and I'm just trying to make it a little straighter. All right. There we go. Oh, Christmas tree. It's right at the bottom. So we're just going to adhere that right on. Oh, Christmas tree. All right. Got that piece done. Now, let's go ahead and get this one die cut. Bring back in my big guy here, just because I have it sitting right there next to me. Another fun thing that you could do, you could actually run your box, because it'll fit on this on the big embossing machine. You could put that in an embossing folder and then make your box. So we can do another quick one using that, doing that. So one of these ends is a little bit bigger than the other. That's the end that you want over on the left side. So we'll go right here. And I'm going to do Season's Greetings. And you know what, we're just going to let it hang off the sides a little bit. That's fine. We're going to pop it up on some dimensionals. Oh, if I could pick these dimensionals up, it'd be so much better. The next project is a lot faster. This is because I had to putz around and measure it. My first box, I used something else. So we'll go through and we'll do another one, and I'll show you how it will look with running it through your die cut machine. All right, so there we go. Cute. You can add a little ribbon to that. I'm going to actually bring in my little sequins here. These are my gold shaker. Oh, that's so not what I wanted to do. All right. I like to pour some into my lid so that I don't dump it all over my table like I just did. Because these things get everywhere. All right. And I'm just going to randomly put... Okay. I'm going to randomly just put some dots of glue. Okay. There we go. Take a scrap piece of paper here. I'll just do this. Big goober came out when I did that, so we'll just put some random dots of glue. Or maybe not so random. I'm just sprinkling them all over. All right, then I use my take a pick tool here with the putty end. If I put it away in its home where it should be and not leaving it lay out somewhere. And I think I left it lay out somewhere. Oh, what is going on? Oh, I have such a mess over here that I can't even turn it. There it is. All right. So I'll just start randomly putting those down. If that glue sits for just a little bit, not a real long time, but just a little bit, it tends to hold a little bit better. It's a little easier to get off your take a pick tool without making too much of a mess. Yeah, okay, we'll slide it over just a little bit. Oh, I missed one there. Okay. Now I'm using the solid stars. They have stars with openings here. So you can see them like right here. That's going to be pretty hard to glue down. So I'm just using the ones with opening. And I think I need, oh here, a little one. Let's see. We'll take this teeny tiny one for right here. And then we'll add another larger one right here. Okay. So now I've just got some little embellishments on there. Just like that. And if you wanted to make it a shaker box, you could do that too. I just need my little lid here, my little cover. All right. So now we'll repeat, and this time I'm going to do it in shaded spruce, and we'll do it with our little embossing folder. So I just got to get one of the embossing folders out here. I think I'm going to use this one here, my plaid. And shaded spruce, where did you go? Oh, danger. My light just fell over. Well, hang on. Go back in your spot. Oh, sorry. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. You can't see the difference, but I can. Holy cow. Let me try putting that up again. Okay. That like fell all over me. All right. Before tomorrow's video, I am definitely putting my stuff away because this is causing chaos in my room. All right. So again, 6 by 8.5. Oh, and I just realized I left my plate downstairs. Okay. So I need 2 pieces that are 6 by 8.5. And we're going to emboss those. My second piece here, which would be for the inside. Remember, I'm going to go down just like a 1/16 of an inch, just a little bit, like, right, just like so. Because again, you want that to be a tad smaller. So what I'm actually doing when I'm measuring this, my gutter for my trimmer is right here. So right outside where this piece starts, so there's a little plastic piece here, that's where I'm putting it up to. So that's how much I'm taking off. So you can see it's just kind of a little schnibble. It's not a whole lot. All right. Then again, we'll do our scoring. It'll probably, we'll probably have to do it again after we emboss because it'll probably press it out, but we're going to start with it there. I think maybe we'll just emboss the top. Okay, the top and the sides are what's going to be embossed. Because no one's going to see the bottom. Why do all the extra work? Okay. So now I'll need my paper here. This will need to be cut at... Well, that one's going to be too small. That one's going to be a hair smaller. Okay. So I'm going to go to 3 7/8. And then we're going to go to 5 3/8. All right. I'm going to do my die cutting first. No, I'm not going to, because if I tape this down now and I run it through, this piece is going to be embossed. No, let's just do it. Let's just go ahead and do it, right? Okay. So we'll go around all my edges. All right. You could make it the same size. I'm making it, like I said, just a little smaller. All right. Press down. I'm going to do my die cut first. And then I just need to run downstairs really quick to go grab my folder, my plate to emboss with. Oh, Cooper, buddy. So he's trying to lay like on my feet. Like, that's not working. All right. So I've got my plate 1, my base plate, my embossing folder. This will just fit inside. All right. Then my plate 4, I think this is. Yeah. We'll run this through really quick. Now there is a way that you can do like a no glue or a no cut box top. We'll do that a different day. Oh, I can't believe I left my thing in there. All right. Duh. Hopefully I didn't cut too badly into my embossing folder. All right, yeah, see, I can't even see my score lines anymore. All right. So I'm just going to go back and forth several times. Had I used a different folder, it'd probably be a lot easier to see. See, now I can't see where my line is. Let's try it again. It's right on the same line. It's right above one of the other score lines. So it's just grabbing that other score line instead of the one I need. So I just got to tell what to be boss. Okay. Slide this side under. Okay. All right. Did I do this side? I don't think I did yet. I did this side, now I need this side. So yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge. So if you're wondering what I'm doing when I keep picking it up, I'm just putting it into light so I can see where my score line is. All right. Okay. Now, let's see if I can cut straight lines tonight. This one I'm kind of lucky with because it's right on the... All right. All right, where are you? Again, bad lighting, old eyes. Happens. All right. Okay. All right. So now notice this one's a little bit higher. I could trim that off a little bit. Since I didn't do a good job, we're just going to go ahead and take a chunk off. All right. Okay. Now, this time I am going to be using my liquid glue. I've got several of my little mini clothespins here. So, and the reason I'm using my liquid glue this time is because this is, you know, embossed and it's got all those nooks and crannies there. And I want to make sure that I actually have my box in here, so it's going to say shut. So what looks like I'm using a lot of glue, it's actually it's a pretty thin bead of glue. So I'm going to meet my corner. I have my corner met there. Put my clothespin. So, you know, everything mini is adorable, right? Just saying. But mini clothespins are great for crafting 3D projects. You try to use a large clothespin, a regular everyday clothespin, it doesn't work so well. Just saying. Let's do this side right away. All right. And it also gives you a little bit of wiggle. So if you need to, you know, slightly adjust your box, you can. Oh, yeah, because this one I definitely did not score well. All right. Okay, we'll just hold that for a second. Okay, let's get our other scored piece. It doesn't matter. You can cut from this side or this side. Just make sure you're doing it consistent on all 4 sides. You know, this is habit for me to always do it this way. Okay, since I don't have enough clothespins out, I'm going to have to hold this for a couple seconds. All right, let's put glue on this flap. Glue on this flap. Okay. Make sure your glue dries before you do anything else. All right. And now if you cut and scored good, like I did not there, you box like that. So like for that, I would just trim that down. That was just because my score line actually just was really funky where it landed. So, all right. So now let's put our cake in here. And did you know the little shaker boxes here, even though we're not going to make this a shaker, will fit in here. Just don't peel off the back part. Right, you peel off that front, and now you can have that little shaker dome. So let's just do that with this one. So we're going to take this, we're going to peel off that front adhesive, not the back adhesive. Do not do the back adhesive. Just saying, you're going to have a problem. If you want to make a shaker box, then yes, then do your back adhesive. In fact, I would probably take the other, oh no, it's not going to work. You'll have to just have another square in there to cover that. So if you do want to have a shaker, what you would do here is you take that piece off and you put another piece of paper or cardstock in there. Which, you know what, should we do that? Do you guys all want to do that? Let's trim this one down. Then we can show you how it looks. I'm just trimming it down just a little bit more so it fits better in there. I'm not really measuring. didn't quite have it enough. All right. So all of a sudden done. It took about 1/8 of an inch off, maybe a little more. All right. So let's just make sure we have our, let's have our stars going in a different direction. Our stars there. All right. So now, when we peel off this backing, I'm going to say to peel off the backing before you add your embellishments, because sometimes it's easier to turn it on its side. Okay. At this point, now we'll take our embellishments. Where did I put them? Oh, come on, glue, don't fall on the floor. All right. I'm going to take my spoon and about that much. No, that's probably a little too much. Oh, and now it's stuck to my... Man, I gotta get these pieces off. Because I went back in and tried to get some out. Now I've got sequins stuck to my adhesive. So lesson learned there is decide on how much you want to use and you're stuck with using it. Just saying. So start with a little, then add. Like maybe 1/4 teaspoon. And the reason I want that off of there is if I don't get a good seal there, I'm going to have little sequins flying all over the place. All right, so now I'm going to do this one. I'm just going to layer that in here. Oh, come on. Like so. Probably could have left it a little bit longer, but what I really want to do is just make sure that my paper is stuck to that tree adhesive. There we go. All right, so now with this, you're not going to see your little Debbie cake, but you get the idea. So then you just put your little top on just like that. So on this one, what we could do, let's make it a little different. Let's go ahead and take a piece of ribbon, and I'm just going to grab any ribbon that I have here. I've got some gold ribbon here. I know this was out of stock for a while. I'm not sure if it's back or not. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this off. And I am going to leave it a little bit longer, a little larger bow. Just like that. Makes it look more like a gift. There we go. And let's get a little sentiment on there. Let's get some of this stuff picked up. Sorry, I just got to get some of this picked up. Otherwise, it's too much on my desk. All right. Let's see what we have here. I know I have some of these already die cut, so let's take a look at, we're going to use this one here, and we can do Just For You. Let's do that. I'll grab my shaded spruce ink. Again, you can change your ink up and you can use the Poppy Parade, whatever you want to do. All right, Just For You. Doop. Now, I definitely want to come in with a little bit of my baker's twine so I can tie my tag on. I just need to close my wrong one. There we go. Close that. So I've got my is it? I'm looking for my metallic, there it is. Not that matte. I'm going to use a piece of this. I'm going to use the black. Two. And handy dandy little trio of punches here. This is our hole punch assortment, and I'm just going to slide it in, pop a little hole there. I'm going to thread this through. All right, and let's trim that down. Give myself enough to work with here. All right. Now we can tie another little bow. Or a little knot, whatever you prefer. I think I'm going to tie a little knot, just because that way I can move it wherever I want. All right, so there we go. So just for you, this one's a pretty big surprise on what's inside. This one will show the little Debbie on the inside. So that is our box for tonight. That's our little Debbie box. And now we're going to do just a little candy treat holder that you can whip up and give to coworkers if you need to do something at the last minute, or maybe just some little teacher gifts. So something quick and easy to do. And we'll move some of this stuff out of our way. I don't know how everything goes from being in its proper place to exploding all over my desk. That happens every time though. Ouch. Okay, I need to move this out of the way. Next, let's put this away. Okay, now I need to find my I'm using clear envelopes for this next project. And these actually measure 5 3/4 by 4 3/8. It's the 4 3/8 that we need to be concerned with. All right. So let's grab a piece of that designer paper I had out earlier. All right. And choose something fun. Let's see. These are all those same pieces. I don't want those pieces. No, we could use this one. I was looking for a piece of the plaid, but apparently I don't have a piece of plaid left. Oh wait, maybe this is one. Yeah, here it is. I like that plaid. Now, our red ribbon here is actually on last chance. So if you like this red ribbon, the number for it is 165876. I'll put a list in the description of the video, and you'll have the IDs for all the stuff I've used. But this is actually on last chance list. So, okay, so now we've got our pieces. Let's hope this stays together here. All right. I need a piece of garden green. I'm actually using this paper to make little cookie recipe books for my cookie exchange. All right. So I want a piece that's going to fit in here. So normally a normal size card is what, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to cut this piece to be 4 1/4. We're going to do 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. We're just going to make a square. I lied. This piece. This piece here is going to be 4 1/2. I have to think about this. 4 1/2. 4 1/2. We're going to go this way. Right. And I probably could have gone a little bit bigger. Let's go to 5 inches. Well, that was 4 1/2. Let's do 4 3/4. So I want it to be a little bit wider than my little bag here. So it's 4 3/4. All right. This piece here will then be on the inside of our bag. So what we'll need this piece to be is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay. Just going to slide on the inside. Just like so. All right. Now, you can take a piece of designer series paper. You can take, you know, an alternate piece. Totally up to you. You can use a piece of cardstock, what you want to do next. But I'm going to go ahead and open my candy here. I'm going to spill some out on my table. Now, I chose to use the flat candies here. And what I'm going to do, I need this strip to be, so I'm going to be taping 3 pieces of candy down. Okay, I think that's what will fit. I don't think I can fit 4. I could. I think that'll be pushing it. We're going to just do 3 pieces of candy, 6 in total. So I'll take this, we're going to cut this piece in half. So this piece was 1 3/4, so 3/4 each. Okay, come on, I didn't cut it straight, so I'm just recutting it straight. Okay. And I only want it to be 1, 2, 3, yay long. So we're going to cut off 3/4 of an inch. All right. So this was measured 3 1/2. So my strips are 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. Then we're going to take a little bit of our CO Plus here, and I'm just going to run it along here, run it along here, and we're going to put our candies on there. So I'm going to start with my middle one. I don't want that seal to be, you know, the seam to be in front here. Okay. One. Oh, there's that seam. 2, 3. I'm just going to slide that piece of candy over a little bit. All right. Now we're going to just take this and slide this in the inside. If you wanted, you could adhere, put a little bit of adhesive on the back of those to keep them in place, but I think they'll stay in place. All right. Okay. Like so. And we're just going to take the envelope strip off the back. Fold it over. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and Make sure that goes down all the way. All right. So here, I'm just taking a look at that. I'm going to cut this at 6.5 inches. Here's my 1/2 inch. I'm going to go with 7 inches on it. All right. We'll score it at 4.5. All right. So that gives me my little area for that. And then, so I score at 4.5. And now I need to score this at 1. That's 2.5, 1 3/4. Is that right? No, 1 1/4. 1 1/4 inch. I couldn't do math, sorry. Okay. Oh, that didn't quite, the way my candies are sitting in there, it didn't want to go. So we're just going to move that up a little bit. So originally I scored it at 4.5. We'll go to 4 3/4. Because that candy is just, I slid it up. I don't have it slid down as far as I could go. All right. All right. So here we go. So all I'm doing is just making a little flap here. Where's my... All right. So we do this little flap. I need to trim that down by 1/4 inch. So you may have to adjust, you know, from the original cutting based on how your candy's fitting in there. All right. Now, I'm going to take my stapler, if I can find where I put it, and I'm going to staple this right to the inside. All right, so what I want to do is keep that flap there, and I'm going to staple, get that lined up where I want it to be, and 1, 2. We'll go ahead and use some of our handy dandy tear and tape. If I find where I put it. Hot mess on the desk. Okay, we'll use our Steel Plus. All right, now we do need to cover our staples in back. So I'm just going to take this extra piece of Designer Series paper that I left, and I'm going to cut that in half, and then I will have 2 strips. So, and this, what did I say this measures at? What did I cut this at? 4 3/4. Okay, so we'll cut this one down to 4 3/4. So I can see it better on my other end. All right, so 4 3/4. And this is 1 3/4. So I'm just going to cut this right in half. I'm eyeballing it. All right. I'll put 1 strip in front. And I'm going to use the opposite of what was in there. So I'm just going to use that. And I'm going to cut it down to 4.5. I want it to be the same size as what's in there. So should have done 4.5 instead of 2 to 2, 1/4 half. For some reason, it's hard for me to cut on this side. I usually have to cut on my other side there. All right. Well, measure, I should say. Cutting is not a problem. Measuring. Okay. So now we'll take this, or you can have, you know, it's up to you what side you want. So we can do whichever. Okay. Now what I like about this paper is it gives you some die cut shapes already. So you have things already to use for your decorating. All right. Okay, so let's pull in some of these pieces here. And I need one of my tags here from before. Actually, we're going to use one of these as our tag. So, got some strips here. We've got some little stockings. Just kind of pick out the things that you like. We could do this bird. And maybe we just put that right here. It changes every time I do this project because it's whatever I happen to have left over. So play around with the pieces that you like, whatever die cut things you have. Like this is kind of cute too. So to get this to work on here, because these stick so far up, I'd have to use quite a few dimensionals. So what I'll do is I actually have my, here we go. Where are you? Where in the world is it? Now that I want it, I can't find it. So I have dimensional sheets, which are a little thicker. Okay, so I have these dimensional sheets, the foam adhesive sheets. So they tend to be a little thicker than dimensionals. So we're just going to... Sorry, my dog is on my foot and I'm trying to move. All right. I just need... Okay. I'm just going to layer these together. All right, I'm going to take this. Hopefully I didn't cut it too big. Let me just see. I might be too big. Based on where I wanted to have it. Okay. So we'll just cut that in half. That's fine. All right. So I know I'm going to have it. I just want to make sure that it doesn't stick outside of the label, you know what I mean? Like I don't have those edges showing, so I can put that there, just like that. And then we can take, I don't know, a little Christmas gift or something. Here we go. Little gift. And I can probably just put that right on top of that one. So we'll just do a little bit of adhesive here. That there. Put a little stocking. I don't know. Just grab whatever pieces you have. Maybe we'll grab another little gift. Pop this one up on a dimensional. Two. Okay. All right. And let's take some of our ribbon again. We'll use this red ribbon here. And you could either tie it around and make a bow. It's like this one, I just tie it underneath and make a bow off to one side. Or you could just tie a bow and stick it to the front, up to you. this. Sorry, I didn't realize it was going the wrong way. Okay, so I've got my shiny side up here. And when I go through here, I'm going to have to twist it. So I have my shiny side up there as well. Come on. Come on, shiny. Where are you? Oh my gosh. Come on. Why can't I pull a bow? There we go. Okay. So let's... Yeah, the scissors isn't really my sharpest scissors. All right. So again, underneath, just pull your ribbon how you have to. All right. We'll trim that down a little bit so it's not so rough. Oh, wrong scissors. A little shorter with this one. Okay. All right. There we go. Good to go. And let's just get a little label. So let's go ahead and bring in that punch again that we had. What did I do with it? What the heck? Oh my gosh. Happened again to me. All right. Where did I put it? All right. Where's that punch? Does anyone see it on my tabletop? Because I don't. Oh, it's right here. Ooh. All right. I need a piece of that white cardstock I had earlier. Let's see. Do I have another piece? Just looking for a scrap of white cardstock. Whatever I happen to have. All right. Let's see. There we go. And I'm just going to use this top one. And let's see. I think I'm just going to put, you can put whatever you want on here. I'm just going to go ahead and grab my pen and just write something. You know what, maybe we'll grab the long one. We'll do that. I've got a long strip right here. Let's go ahead and slide this in and get our angle cut again. Lift that out. Here we go. Okay. Ooh. That must not have been the right width. Okay, that looks bad. We'll just make our own. Okay. All right, let's go. 'Tis the season. And I'm just going to use Poppy Parade since I have it sitting out. And since I have that, I think I still have it down here, don't I? Yep. Just have this right here. This is our metallic, black, white, and gold metallic baker's twine. That's a mouthful to say. Just remember, it's the metallic baker's twine. We'll grab our little hole punch again. Okay. Thread that through. It's a little frayed. We'll trim that off and thread it through. Bring a little pull back in. slide this through. This is one of my more favorite things to do with a tag, is to tie it with linen thread or baker's twine and tie a bow in a bow. I don't know why, I just like doing that. It floats my boat. All right. Here we go. Little tug. And there we go. Extra little gift. So just some cute little quick little treats that you can whip up. I know it took me a little bit longer, but that's because I'm sitting here explaining it to you. But they are pretty quick once you get going. You can do several of these all at one time. So you can see how fast that was. The hard part is deciding what kind of little stickers and die cuts you want on the front. So be creative, have fun with it. I'd love to see your designs. So on our Facebook group, make sure you post them. I'd love to see what you do. And if you use something other than Little Debbie's, I'd love to see that too. Always looking for cute, fun little treats. They do have Christmas tree peeps, just saying. And they also have the Reese's peanut butter Christmas trees. Those by far are my husband's favorite. So I'll probably make a little box. You know, I might just use this box right here and fill that up with those Reese's Christmas trees and give that to him for Christmas. Well, one of his Christmas gifts. But yeah, he loves to have those. So it'll be his own little special treat box. All right. Thanks for joining me tonight. Again, we'll be live tomorrow night. I don't know of the time yet. I kind of got to play it by ear. It'll probably be around 6-ish, I'm going to say. Yeah, because I've got some chores I need to get done. And I'm just debating if I do those after or before my live. Usually after my live, I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to do anymore. So we'll see. I'll post it tomorrow what time I'm going to kick it off at. But that will be day 4. And then day 5 will be Saturday. And Saturday morning, I'll have that all ready for you nice and early in the morning. And I am sending out the email tomorrow with the recaps from the first couple of days with the video links so that you can watch it. Also, I'll have the updated supply list on all those videos. That will be done by tomorrow. All right, thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed our day 3 of our 5 days of Christmas gift giving. Bye.